Hi everyone, Corey from Hazel Garden. We're in my own garden today. This is my front garden, which I'm going to be working on over the coming weeks. About a year and a half ago, I had the front garden, the rest of my garden looking really good. It's amazing how good you can make a garden look when you're locked down and you've got nothing to do but gardening and looking after your kids. So, but unfortunately, over the last year or so, work has been so busy that my own garden has sort of gone a little bit wild with weeds, with lawn grass coming through into the garden beds. Plants have died, plants have gotten too big for their spot. So there's a lot of clean-up work to do and a good revamp that I need to do on my own garden. I'll take you through briefly and just show you around and show you all the things, but keep watching over the coming weeks. We're going to be getting the garden into good shape and hopefully give you some good tips, tricks and some real encouragement in your own garden. So as you can see, the garden beds have just become completely overrun with the kikuyu grass. You can see that's completely invaded from the lawn. Unfortunately, the garden beds were full of the kikuyu when we first moved in a few years ago, and I managed to pull a lot of it out, but unfortunately the kikuyu roots tend to remain deep down and they just keep coming back. So it's a problem I'm going to have to deal with. I don't want to have to pull all of the plants out and dig out the whole garden beds, which is the only complete and 100% solution to solve the kikuyu grass. But I think initially we're just going to pull all the kikuyu grass out by hand, as much of it as we can, and then maybe just spray it if it starts to come back. It doesn't look like it at the moment, but there are a lot of plants in here, things that are going to start coming up again in spring. We've got the bearded iris. You can sort of see this bearded iris dotted all through there. We've also got these lovely summer alliums. This is Allium millennium. Doesn't look like much now. These are all the old flower heads and flower stalks. I think they're just starting to pop up again now. The new shoots are just starting to pop their heads through, so we want to clear all of this out and allow them to come through. I've got a lot of other things in here as well. We've got the old stems of the Verbena bonariensis, purple top it's sometimes called. These look absolutely beautiful when they're all frosted, but they are starting to look a little bit worn now. We've got some dahlia stems in here that need cutting back as well. We've also got in here the Callimagostis grass. This is a absolutely wonderful grass. It is deciduous, and we have had a few fairly big frosts here in the last couple of days. But surprisingly, they've actually done very well. They haven't actually died back that much. Usually in really cold climates, the whole thing will go brown and you'll just have to chop the whole thing back to the ground, which is what I would normally do. But it hasn't completely died back this year. I don't really know. We must have maybe it's getting protection from all the kikuyu grass that's clumping up around it. We've also got the cherry tree, which I've already given a bit of a prune. I gave it a late summer prune, and I've just taken out any of the dead stems and things that I found in it. So that will not need any further work for the time being, and hopefully we'll get some lovely flowers off it as spring. So as you can see, we've got this. So that's the central bed we've got against the road here. And we've also got the lily-pilly hedge there that needs a bit of a trim. Coming down here, we've got a garden bed that basically borders the lawn and our driveway. You can see we've got another dahlia here that needs another trim back. The other thing with this dahlia is I might even need to lift it, because I have noticed, there they are, there's a few, you might be able to just see them just there. Some of the tubers are starting to pop up out of the ground. As they grow and swell, they can sometimes pop up above the soil. and they really need to be below the soil, especially to give them protection from frost. And it's probably also a good chance to divide them, get more plants out of them. So I'll probably be giving them a bit of a trim back, I'll dig up and a divide in time. There's some planting I want to do at the front here, but that will come in time. We've got the lovely red maple here. This one is Autumn Blaze, which I really like the Autumn Blaze, because in autumn it does have much more orangey red colouring as opposed to the bright red of other red maples like October Glory. I just like the variation in the colour. I think really catches the eye. We've got more plants down hiding under all of the weeds down in here. We've got some nandinas hiding in here. There is also another dahlia in there somewhere, but I'm sure we'll find it as we start going through. We've got a whole stack of sweet peas. These we had just over here. We had sweet peas growing up this plant support about a year and a half ago, and I was very lazy, didn't get to getting all the flowers off. All the seeds basically spread everywhere. We even had some coming up through the lawn, but we still have some popping up through here around the tap. Once again, even more grass that we've got to deal with. Hello, we've got the neighbour's cat hiding away inside, and my dogs love to howl at you when they spot you, but you love enjoying our garden. Hiding underneath the big cordyline australis. Now this has been amazing. When we first came, it was about 3 meters tall and looked half dead. The top part of it was pretty much dead. It just had a big long massive stem on it with dead foliage on the top and a few sprouts coming out of the bottom of it, and I cut the whole thing back almost to the ground, and it has come back beautifully. I'm gonna need to thin that out. I think cordylines look great as multi-stemmed. They essentially grow like a tree with big long trunks, but I think they look better multi-stemmed, but when you cut them down, like what's happened here, they put out lots of shoots all over the place. So I need to sort of get in there, clear out all the dead leaves from the bottom, expose the stem, and try and get it just to, I think maybe 3 shoots is probably best for the front of this garden. I think any more than that might just make it a bit too big. Down in here we've got a whole heap of stuff that needs pruning back. More dahlias. We've got a rose down in here. This one luckily the tag's still there. We've got it's an English David Austin rose called the Squire, so that needs a prune back. We've got some a dead lavender in there. Don't really know why the lavender didn't do well there. It might have just been that it got a bit too overshadowed. It's actually quite a drought resistant tough lavender, but we'll have to take care of that one. And we've got canna lilies and the salvia in there. This salvia is a big beautiful salvia, does die back during the cold weather to its base, so we'll need to prune all of that out, but that'll come back, as well as the canna. They'll come back very happily in the new as the weather warms up. Through here we've got this hebe here. This was about 2 meters tall by 2 meters wide when we first came. Once again, did not look fantastic. It was very bare, had a lot of bare branches. Chopped the whole thing back. I truly did not think it would come back, and it has bushed back absolutely beautifully in the last couple of years. Don't know if I particularly like it. I'm not sure if it really suits the garden. It certainly needs a trim back because I don't want it sort of overtook the front garden when we first moved in, so I think I want to get rid of I might get rid of it in coming years, but for now we'll just try and trim it back, keep it more compact. We've also got I've got a rose to deal with, give it its winter prune. It's very happy. I think it's just an iceberg, white iceberg rose, but we'll give that a big trim back as well. And then finally down in here we've got another Hebe which has died on us. It's a Hebe that's struggled the entire time with here, and I've actually got another plant that I think will suit the position better. And I think will work quite well in the front garden as we start to change and revamp things. So it's one of the first jobs is to rip that out and get the new plant in. So the first thing we're going to get stuck into is the lawn. The lawn is starting to get a little bit overgrown, so I need to get that cut. And cutting the lawn and doing the edges, I find it always is like a really quick way of cleaning up a yard. It changes things dramatically, so we'll do that first and then we'll work on the weeds.
I do. Love you like I love you like I love you. Yeah, love you like I do. Love you like I love you like I. Nobody will love you, yeah, love you like I do. Nobody will treat you like I do. Whenever you need me, I'm truly madly ready. So let me love you, yeah, love you like I do. Love you like I love you like I love you, yeah, love you like I do. Love you like I love you like I. I do, and nobody will treat you like I do. Whenever you need me, I'm truly madly ready. So let me love you, yeah, love you like I do. Love you like I.
Well, we ran out of light last night, so we're back again today. And you can see that we've gone from a nice sunny day to a overcast and windy winter day, as you might be able to hear in the microphone. But we at least got the lawn finished yesterday, so I'll show you that and what we're going to try and get to today. So you can see something as simple as cutting the edges and just mowing the lawn makes a really big difference to a garden. It really defines the garden beds and defines the lawn. You'll probably see a lot of sort of grey patches in the lawn. This is just a little bit of frost burn. Kikuyu grass is a tropical grass, and any frost, we've had a few harsher frosts here, and as you can see, it just sort of burns the top of it. It's absolutely fine. It'll come back in spring, but the one tip I can give with kikuyu lawn, especially in colder areas like here in Diamond Creek, is to cut your grass a little bit longer in winter. Just keeps that little bit of protection on the top of the lawn, so that you're not burning the runners underneath. What we're going to work on today is getting rid of this dead Hebe here. We're going to start to weed through in here, and I'm going to dig this Hebe out, and we've got a really nice plant that I want to put in there instead. Something that's actually going to fill the space a bit better and also give us a little bit of protection from the sun in summer, because at the front of our house here does face northeast, so we get all the really hot summer afternoon suns, so we'll need a little bit of protection in here.
yeah, love you like I do. Love you like I, love you like I love you, yeah, love you like I do. Love you like I, love you like I. Nobody will love you, yeah, love you like I do. And nobody will treat you, yeah, treat you like I do. Whenever you need me, I'm truly madly ready to love you, yeah, love you like I do. Love you like I. Yeah, love you like I do. Love you like I. Love you like I. Love you, yeah, love you like I do. Love you like I. Love you like I. Nobody will love you, yeah, love you like I do. And nobody will treat you, yeah, treat you like I do. Whenever you need me, I'm truly madly ready to love you, yeah, love you like I do. Love you like I.
So I've got the area clean now and we're going to put the plant in a sec, but before we do that, if you are enjoying this video, click the subscribe button, and that way you can stay up to date with everything we're doing and follow us as the garden develops. And if you're really enjoying the video, click like, because that'll help us spread out and grow this channel, and it'll give us an opportunity to do even more of these videos. But we're going to get this plant in. This is a 9-bark. It is a deciduous shrub from North America. This one grows to about 2 meters high by about 1 meter wide, and it doesn't look like much now, but it has absolutely beautiful dark leaves when it first comes out, almost purpley, and that purple does tend to go more green as the season progresses. So it'll be a really good plant for this spot here, because it will grow up and spread out, but it won't completely take over the area. It'll give us that all needed shade that we need in the summer to keep the front of the house cool. But the great thing is it drops all of its leaves in winter, and we can get all that extra light in when the light is lowest. So we'll get the hole dug and let's get this in the ground. So I've worked out what the most likely cause of the death of the hebe is. Digging down, I've discovered that there is actually a very small layer of soil, and then underneath that is a thick layer of clay and rock and gravel. It's very, very common in urban gardens where the garden bed hasn't actually been prepared properly, probably even back from when the garden was first constructed, when the house was constructed. So let me show you what it looks like. So as you can see, this is the soil level here, which is actually quite nice soil, but down in here all we've got is this horrible rock and clay, and there's like, I can barely even get the spade in. When I hit it with the spade, it just doesn't want to go down very far. There's not really an easy way to improve this. What I would usually recommend doing is sort of digging out and preparing the garden bed properly from the start. But what I would probably recommend, and what I'm going to do here in a small way, is basically dig out largish planting pockets, try and get a lot of this clay and rock out, because the plants are just not going to thrive with that in there. So I'm going to dig a much larger hole than the plant needs, try and get rid of this clay stuff, and then backfill with good soil, good compost, and then as I'm planting around it in time, I'll keep doing that, basically making larger planting pockets, and over time we'll start to improve the soil and replace the clay and the rock to improve it all.
Yeah, love you like I do. Love you like I love you like I love you. Yeah, love you like I do. Love you like I love you like I. Nobody will love you, yeah, love you like I do. And nobody will treat you, yeah, treat you like I do. Whenever you need me, I'm truly madly ready to love you, yeah, love you like I do. Love you like I.
So, as you can see, the hole is definitely much larger than what the plant needs, but we really need to do that to give it a good root run, a nice deep root run. Otherwise it's just going to really struggle the whole time. It'll have, its roots will come to the surface, and the surface is the area that dries out the fastest as well. So we needed to dig a nice deep hole, fill it up with the soil and improve it with some compost, and over time, like I said, we'll start to improve the soil around it as well with more planting as we go. It's always the way. You think it's going to be a nice easy day of cleaning weeds and planting a plant, and then you end up using a mattock and digging out rocks. But there's nothing for it, because when you got rocks like this coming out of it, the plant's just not going to do well unless you give it something good to grow in. So let's get this in the ground and let's get this job done.
I do. Love you like I love you like I love you. Yeah, love you like I do. Love you like I love you like I. Nobody will love you, yeah, love you like I do. And nobody will treat you, yeah, treat you like I do. Whenever you need me, I'm truly.
Well, we finally got it in. So I think that should be quite happy there, and I think it'll give us the results that we need. So thanks for watching, guys. That's it for today. Like I said, stay subscribed, like the video if you enjoyed it, and keep up to date with what we'll be doing over the coming months. We've got more weeding to do, more pruning, but I think if we stick to it, we're going to have a really good garden at the end of it. Alright, take care.
Love you, yeah, love you like I do. Love you like I